is 1977. This was the year the very first Star Wars movie came out. The spaceships in that movie were all science fiction. In that same year, 2 Rio spacecraft were launched and marked a revolution in space exploration. When you think about space, you might think about NASA, the space race, the Apollo missions, and the space shuttle. We sometimes overlook some of the less well-known missions. One of these missions was the Voyager program. The Voyager mission featured 2 probes like this one here. They both weighed about 1,800 pounds and carried many instruments to help them explore the 4 outer planets of the solar system, like this camera. The Voyager probes discovered many new facts as they explored Jupiter's system. The most important discoveries were made as Voyager explored 2 of Jupiter's moons, Io and Europa. The discoveries Voyager made about these moons influenced the way scientists study other moons, planets, and Earth to this very day.
Voyager was one of the greatest feats of human exploration that have ever been carried out. It opened our eyes to the true wonders and glories of the outer solar system, and it led to discoveries that continue to shape the whole of exploration of the solar system and of other systems as well.
You are probably very familiar with pictures like these of Jupiter. Back in 1977, we thought Jupiter had 13 moons. 4 of these had been discovered by the astronomer and scientist Galileo all the way back in 1610. The 4 moons Galileo saw through his primitive telescope are Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. These are called the Galilean moons. Most scientists expected Jupiter's 4 Galilean moons to be lifeless gray pieces of rock like our own moon. Still, these moons had not been explored, and scientists at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California programmed the Voyagers to encounter these 4 Galilean moons to see what could be learned. The Voyager mission was timed to take advantage of a planetary alignment that happens only once in every 176 years. On August 20th, 1977, the first Voyager probe was launched into space on a Titan III-E rocket. Its sister probe launched in September but got to Jupiter first. In March 1979, after an 18-month voyage, the first Voyager encountered Jupiter and its moons. It sent back data and high-resolution pictures for Jet Propulsion Laboratory scientists to study. Voyager's first big discovery was that Jupiter has rings, 3 of them. Before Voyager, scientists only knew Saturn had rings because they can be seen through ground telescopes. The next surprise was that Jupiter had more moons. The Voyager discovered 3 more so-called baby moons. These were Adastria, Metis, and Phoebe. It also sent back close-up shots of the moon Io. These were surprising. Io had a very odd surface for a moon. It had weird yellow and black spots and lumps on it. The mission scientists compared Io to a pizza. Then, on March 8, 1979, Voyager took a picture of Io that changed the way scientists look at moons forever. Jet Propulsion Laboratory engineer Linda Morabito was studying Voyager pictures of Io when she thought she saw a smudge on one of them, but investigation revealed the smudge was really a 100-mile-high volcanic plume. Io had volcanoes on it, 9 volcanoes to be exact. Cooling sulfur from the volcanoes created the colors and pits on Io. Voyager's discoveries on these volcanoes was a huge surprise to most scientists, including the one in charge of the mission.
Perhaps the most important discovery in the sense of setting the tone for the whole mission was the discovery of the volcanoes on Io. As we approached Io, we saw an object that looked unlike anything we had ever seen before. In fact, we have not seen anything like it since. And we did not understand what we were looking at all. It was so different than anything we had imagined. And it was only as we were flying by Io that a navigation image was taken, that is, an image taken with a deep exposure to find the stars in the background, that a navigation engineer, Linda Morabito, noticed that there was this large plume off the limb of this little moon of Jupiter. And that was the first indication that this is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. 100 times more volcanic activity than Earth, and yet it's just a small moon orbiting this giant planet. It was so unexpected that we would find such incredible volcanic activity that it told us that we were on a mission of discovery, that even though we were planning and thinking about what we would see, that we were bound to be surprised at each stop along the way.
The discovery of volcanoes on Io back in 1979 still influences scientific studies today. Dr. Ashley Davies is a volcanologist at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was in high school when Voyager discovered volcanoes on Io. That influenced Dr. Davies to study volcanoes in space and here on Earth.
There are huge eruptions taking place on Io that erupt large volumes of lava very, very quickly. And we know that in Earth's distant past, as well as on the Moon and on Mars and on Venus, these sort of large eruptions took place. But we don't really know how these happened. But by studying Io, where this thing is happening right now, we may be able to get a better idea as to the conditions under which these eruptions took place in the ancient history of Earth.
Voyager's next big discovery was on the moon Europa. Earlier probes hadn't gotten a good look at this moon. Moons are usually covered with craters from asteroid collisions, and Earth's moon has canyons and mountains. What Voyager 2 saw was an amazingly smooth surface on Europa. Europa was also very flat. It was covered in quilt lines that puzzled scientists. They knew these couldn't be caused by tectonic plate movement because that creates mountains and valleys, and Europa didn't have any. Its surface features resembled ice plates. The scientists concluded there was a liquid ocean underneath the surface, moving the plates around and keeping the surface smooth.
And so the realization now is that if you have a lot of heat in the center of a planet, and you have an icy ocean, an ice-covered ocean above that, it's possible that you have an environment on Europa where life can be sustained. So I think that the greatest legacy from the Voyager mission and the discoveries of the Voyager mission is first an understanding that life could potentially exist, or at least the conditions that could support life can exist elsewhere in the solar system.
Water and heat are key ingredients for life, so Voyager's discoveries on Europa continue to be studied. Information from Voyager's important discoveries on Io and Europa also influenced later space missions, like Galileo.
And so the Galileo mission was the follow-up to Voyager. And the Galileo mission was an orbiter that was put into orbit around Jupiter, and it made multiple passes. It flew by most of the big satellites of Jupiter, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, many times, each time seeking data that would help us understand the processes that were affecting the planets and affecting the moons and leading to how they appear today.
The Voyager missions continued past Jupiter to make discoveries about Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The spacecraft are still sending back data. Both Voyagers are carrying a golden record labeled The Sounds of Earth. These records contain music and pictures from different Earth cultures to exchange with other life forms that might someday decode these records. Just before its cameras were turned off forever, Voyager 1 looked back to take this picture of our solar system. Earth is a tiny dot in the left corner. Just as this picture shows us Earth's place in our solar system, Voyager's encounter and exploration of Io and Europa almost 40 years ago is still helping scientists exchange information and knowledge to help us better understand our Earth and solar system today.